Very good afternoon. Welcome to Saturday in Les Sables d'Olonne. It's day 49 on the race course, and the skippers are passing Cape Horn like buses at the moment. We have 6 boats passing within a few hours. That's almost as many as last year. Or in the last edition, we had 9 boats going past in 23 hours. So, however, this morning's news is not good. The main news is the damage to the steering system on board Matricoque 5. That's the boat of Yanick Bestaven, the title holder from the last race. He spoke at the French programme just an hour ago, and it's been a very tough and emotional time for him. He should be a happy day for him. It's his 52nd birthday, and this is Yanick Bestaven on the French show.
En fait, j'ai des soucis de barre là, depuis un petit moment et hier dans la journée, j'ai le palier central de barre, la fausse mètre qui a cassé. Et donc tout ça c'est un gros souci parce que le bateau il est indirigeable par 30 tonneaux de vent et 5 mètres de mer et du coup j'ai tout essayé sous l'eau derrière, de démonter le palier, de voir ce qui était changeable. Le problème c'est que les pièces je les ai pas et du coup j'ai fait ce système là pour l'instant pour essayer de rejoindre le Cap Horn tant bien que mal. Voilà, j'ai attaché avec mon écoute de Génac, j'ai fait des renvois de barre en fait, ce qui me permet de me diriger vers le Cap Horn sous GV seul avec Dory à petite vitesse, voilà. Et on réfléchit avec mon équipe à ce qui est faisable. Ce qui est sûr, c'est que je ne peux pas remonter Atlantique Sud, Atlantique Nord, enfin, parce que le Cap Horn, c'est pas la porte d'arrivée, hein. C'est juste la délivrance des mers du Sud. Il faut que j'ai un bateau en état pour retourner au sable, ça c'est sûr. Moi, l'idée, c'est vraiment d'aller se mettre à l'abri du Cap Horn, là, derrière les îles là-bas, et puis de voir ce qui est faisable. Est-ce que je peux réparer tout seul? Est-ce que je dois m'arrêter au Ushuaïa? Enfin, vers la base, là, j'en sais rien du tout. Ce qui est sûr, c'est que je suis plus en course à la chasse des premiers, quoi.
So that was the Vendée Globe winner, Yanick Bestaven, on the French show about an hour ago. My guest today, Sir Robin Knox-Johnston, is with us live from London, from England, and Sir Loïck Peyron is on board with me on the plateau today. Loïck, you spoke with Yanick, and tell us exactly what's happening.
So what he was explaining is that you have 2 rudders on those boats like that, and there is a dummy shaft in the middle of the boat, in the cockpit, which is connecting the tillers and the self-steering system, and it's broken. There is no spare part.
So it's not the links, it's the actual...
There is no more link between the rudders. The 2 rudders are still connected together, but it's super hard for the self-steering system and the tiller. And then that's the first damage he have. But he also told us that there is the side of the hull on starboard with he needs to do a lot of repairs. So he's going to stop somewhere after the Cape Horn, and we all hope that he will continue.
An emotional time for him, though.
It's a major damage, in fact. That's the problem. We'll see.
We'll see. Thank you, Loïck. We'll come back to you in just a few seconds. Sir Robin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very sad at Bestaven's news, though. It's a shame, because he's a good sailor, got a good record, and this must be very dispiriting for him.
Good stuff. We'll come back to you in a few seconds. We have Sam Goodchild is approaching Cape Horn, first time solo. It was about 90 minutes or so from the Horn, I believe. Sam, can you hear us, and how are you?
Yeah, hi Andy, hi Robin, hi Loïck. I feel like I'm a little bit in sailing royalty.
Yourself included.
No, I would put myself in the same realm.
Anyway, how are you, Sam? Tell us about your approach to Cape Horn. You're not far away.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm 20 miles off the longitude of Cape Horn, but unfortunately we're 70 miles south, so I'm not going to see a lot. It's just still waves and grey skies down here. If I'm lucky, we'll be able to see Lost Status Island tomorrow, or tonight or tomorrow, but yeah, the Cape Horn itself is going to be a pretty lonely affair, unfortunately.
But a great time for you passing solo.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's what we've been aiming for 10,000 miles now, is getting out the Southern Ocean and heading north. It's a little bit of a trick. You need to be careful because there's obviously 3-4 weeks to go and 7,000 miles, but it's still nice for things to start warming up a bit and to stop nosediving. I'm done with nosediving.
And how does the period after Cape Horn look for you? It looks quite complicated. There's quite a lot of upwind sailing.
Yeah, it's a fairly typical South Atlantic, I guess. It's very fast moving, very quickly changing little lows that come and go. But yeah, to start with, we're going to be going upwind around the Falkland Islands. After the Falklands, we could see up to 30-40 knots upwind, so be a little bit careful as to how we manage that and not break anything. But yeah, it's going to be a South Atlantic as expected, I guess, quite complicated, and just need to be careful. There's big losses and gains that can be made, whether that's on a tactical front or a technical front. So keeping a close eye on it.
Sam, Loïck's going to say hello.
Yeah, Sam. Hello. It's a pity you're not going to see the horn itself for your first solo. But I would like to ask you the question, what sort of a symbolic feeling you have by passing that very famous cape?
It brings back lots of memories. It's the 5th time I've left the docks to go around Cape Horn, and it's the 2nd time I've made it the whole way. So it's something I've had to work for, and for sure, I mean, it's something you hear a lot talking about, whether it's the stories of Robin back 50-something years ago, or whether it's, I remember reading stories of your Jules Verne, Loïck, and going past Cape Horn in the snow, and then a day later being in shorts and t-shirts, and you didn't see it either. So yeah, it kind of brings back lots of nice memories. It's a big symbolic moment, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting into some calmer seas.
So Robin, say hello to Sam.
Sam, well done, and good to see you get past the longitude of the Horn. Do you think you can catch Boris?
Boris, the sneaky Boris. It's a good question. I'm definitely going to try. We haven't really got at all the same sort of boat, so it depends a little bit on weather, and it depends a little bit on breakages as well. So yeah, it's a very good question. It's definitely not out of the cards. I mean, the group of us from 5th to 10th are pretty close now. Unfortunately, we've lost Yanick, but there's definitely a lot to play for in the South Atlantic with those boats, and I'm hoping once the seas have come down a bit, my boat will be a bit better suited, and I can scrape a few more places. Yeah.
Well, we'll be watching you with great interest.
Thanks, Robin. It's nice to hear you. I don't know if you remember me asking lots of annoying questions when I was a nipper, but I admire you.
That was you, was it?
It's time for
Yeah, I did that to a lot of people.
Sam, it's time for him to reciprocate.
Well, ask Robin an annoying question. I was reading an article on the Golden Globe the other day, Robin, and I read something that you gave your winning fees to the Crowhurst family. Is that true?
Yeah, but I didn't expect to win the money anyway.
Look, I just finished with Sam.
No, but it's still a very kind gesture.
Well, didn't bother me. Anyway, good luck, Sam. Keep racing hard. 9th ain't bad, you know. It's a bloody good position, particularly in this fleet. This is a very good fleet.
It is.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I'll try and hang on to it. I'm trying my best.
Okay, Sam. Have a good Atlantic, both south and north.
Great stuff, Sam.
Thanks, Loïck. Take care. See ya.
All the best, Sam, and keep it up and enjoy the passage when it comes in the next hour or so. But thanks so much for joining us at this time.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. Cheers, everyone. Take care.
So, Loïck, what do you think of the race of Sam? It's been pretty accomplished, isn't he?
It is. I mean, I'm really impressed by the level of all the sailors today. All of them, especially in the head of the fleet. The two leaders were quite lucky with the weather, as we know, in the south, really. And the battle right now with all those buses which are passing the horn is amazing. Even the boats are quite different. The background of the skippers are quite different too. But the overall level of their skills is very impressive. The way they manage those kind of speeds, I'm very impressed. By the boat also, they are pretty readable. We only have 3 boats out of the game today, 3 sailors, let's say, and which were not really the leaders. Yeah, it's very fascinating to follow.
It's all moving on, though. As I was saying in the start of the programme, the last race we had 9 boats went past in 23 hours.
Yeah.
This time we've got 6 or 7 in like 5 or 6 hours. It's incredible, isn't it?
That's the weather condition is dictating everything. As I say, the leaders were quite lucky in the south and still lucky, in fact, just after the horn. Those guys passing the horn today are not very lucky in the next few days. As you say, they're going to have to beat against quite a sea state which is not very, very nice. As Sam said, as we all know, the horn is a symbolic passage, and we have the false feeling to be back in a calm garden in the Atlantic, which is not the case, which could be very, not dangerous, but not very nice for the boat.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the last race with Isabel Joschk in particular, got into the South Atlantic and got into trouble. So, Robin, what was your passage of Cape Horn like on the very first time, way back in the 60s?
I'm not allowed to tell you because I got flat becalmed.
Oh, well.
But the next day I had an easterly gale, so it gets you one way or the other.
It does. And what do you think of this grouping of these boats going round so quickly?
Well, do you know what's impressing me? 2 things, really. One, the way the sailors are pushing their boats, I think it's quite incredible. But secondly, how far advanced we are with the boats. You know, in previous races, we'd had a lot more breakages. These boats have obviously been well thought through. The number of breakages, apart from poor old Bestaven, but the number of breakages has been really quite small. So I think we've reached the point where A, we're designing and building better boats, and B, the sailors have worked out how to really sail them very, very hard indeed. I mean, look at the number of records that have been broken in this race.
Indeed, Loïck, I'm going to come back to you on that one. How much faster can we go? I think talking about, I was just looking at the numbers before we come onto the plateau. I think if they finish on the 15th, which is what we're talking about roughly, that would be 60, 67 days. Which compared to 74. Yeah. I mean, it could be a week faster than the Armel's record. Yeah.
It means, as Sir Robin said, it means that the boats and the way they are designed and built improved a lot on the last decades. And it means also that the sailors, exactly like Sir Robin said, are sailing very well. It's not only a matter of having the fastest machine. Is the best way to win a race is to finish it. And they are proving that right now.
Indeed. So one of the sailors who's actually got the most number of Cape Horns is Boris Herrmann. Boris passed for the 7th time today. He was only 31 seconds ahead of Paul Mea. Hey, Boris, you look fantastic.
Hello.
Boris, you look amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. The last few hours in the Pacific.
You look excited.
Yeah, and exhausted as well, a little bit. No, but yeah, it's an exciting moment to leave the Pacific because we're really back to civilization, and it's you know, that's even from a safety standpoint, if anything was to happen, fingers crossed, but. We have been out in the nowhere for a long time, and now we are seeing other boats on the AAS, and we are close to the land. So that's a special moment, really.
And it's your 7th rounding, I believe.
Exactly, yeah, my 7th rounding, and I'm a little bit gutted. I don't see it this time. luckily I had a really beautiful passage during the ocean race 2 years ago, and the Vendée Globe didn't bring me so much luck. The last one and this one, we are passing south of it too far to see anything.
What's your best and worst been so far?
The second time we just crossed Tomakoville on Sodebo. He was doing a solo round the world record attempt. Really, the same hour, 4 a.m. local time, just the first light, we were passing together the Horn with even the sun coming up a little bit later. So that's one of the most amazing memories. And the worst one is probably the last Vendée Globe, where I had strong winds and I damaged the mainsail just passing the Horn, and I wasn't sure whether I was able to repair it, and I was in a big stress just for let's say half a day while passing the Horn.
How many more times do you expect to go round Cape Horn in your life?
How many more times am I going to round Cape Horn in my life? Is that your question?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure this hasn't been the last time. I'm putting eyes on the next ocean race. I hope also to do some passages non-racing in this region one day. So yeah, I'm certainly up for a few more. Make it 10.
Make it 10.
So there we go, Boris Herrmann going round the Cape Horn for the 7th time and in great company, close to Paul Mea, and very much in the match and in better shape than he was in the last edition. So now then, Sir Robin, tell me, what's your thoughts on Boris? You must be extremely proud to have so many sailors who you've had an influence over. Boris was talking to us earlier on about meeting you and what an influence you were on his career.
Oh, don't blame it all on me.
Not at all, but I mean, Sam was talking about reading your book and what an influence that was, and Loïck as well.
Yeah, but these guys have to have it within themselves, They've got to have that inner determination, that willingness to keep pushing when most people would give up. And frankly, watching this race so far, there's, still 36 sailors out there, still pushing themselves, pushing their boats hard. As I said earlier, and Loïck and I would agree, I just feel that the whole level of the boats and the sailors has risen in this race to a higher standard.
Look, Loïck, talk to us a little bit about this standard at the very top, because the two guys who are on top, it's a kind of clash of the titans in a way, but they're pretty tired as well, but they're the ones who are operating at the highest level, you'd have to think.
Yes, the way they are hiding their game also, and the way, especially Johan. Johan is...
it's such a mental game, isn't it?
It is a mental game, for sure. It is. It is an intellectual game. You don't need, you not only need the muscles, hopefully for me, but you need to make your brain working all day long, all the time, from the white page of paper, maybe 4 years or 10 years before the Vendée Globe to the finishing line. That's a very, very long intellectual and team effort, and it's very, as Robin said, it's so impressive to hear those guys, the way they are not exactly saying everything, the way they are maybe hiding something, but the way they are sailing very well.
That's very interesting. There's a lot of theories going on in the French press. There are various people suggesting that Charlie might be hiding something. We put that to Johan Richomme, who starts off talking about the weather and the challenge to get it through this stationary cold front which sits off Cabo Frio. This is Loïck earlier on today.
I am doing well. It's been quite intense since Cape Horn. We've had a tricky sailing to do with lots of wind changes and sail changes, and it's been pretty full on. The options I have with this front, I think that there are mainly two options. Either you go through to the rum line and you try to make the best of it with what you get with a front that is quite active near Rio de Janeiro. Otherwise, you go round to the east and you try to shoot for the St. Helena high and use the shift as much as you can. It's a tough decision to make. I'll have to make that tomorrow morning, maybe with some fresher weather files, obviously. And but the St. Helena high doesn't look too strong, so it might not leave us much option other than to do the run line. People are asking questions about the sail setup Charlie has. Yeah, I'm not sure he's got any problems really. I mean, the situations have looked pretty normal to me. He's been catching up, and I've been putting some miles on him with some logic regarding the weather. So I don't know. I think he's pretty much 100%. Do I feel lucky? Yeah, I feel lucky to get the right weather pattern every time that allow me to move forward and to keep on moving and keep on catching up the others, putting some miles on them and stuff. But it is definitely intense sailing, and it's not all to do with the weather, that's for sure. If I were a battery, what charge would I read? This morning I would have read 20% probably, and this afternoon after some sleep 50%. But yeah, it's very intense sailing, and it's great, but it's obviously very tiring after already something like 50 days at sea or something. I'll try and get some rest this night if I can, but you know, we're going to be going down this low pressure, so it may not be that easy.
Weather, first of all, just a quick look across the whole fleet at the moment. We have Johan Richomme and Charlie Dallin just going up the Argentinian coast, about 300 miles offshore. The key feature for them is the semi-permanent cold front up here of Cabo Frio, just to the north of Rio. And this is the big obstacle that's going to be the strategic challenge for them coming up. Meantime, Sébastien Simon going up in quite good conditions, downwind at the moment, probably 20-odd knots, round the Cape Horn. Well, we'll still look at the influence of this low pressure behind them, but generally conditions improving for them. Then look a little bit further back, Sam Davis, after her move to the north, is lost out a little bit. She's still in quite strong southwesterly winds, whereas the two boats who are main rivals, Benjamin Dutroux and Clarice, are coming in towards the centre of the low pressure there. Otherwise, the things to look out for, just still this little high pressure ridge here for this group. They're still working through that's really compacted the group there. So let's look at that situation for the leaders in just a little bit more detail. Starting off with, as I say, this is the situation at the moment for the two leaders. Say moving across this system, there's a little bit of a ridge to cross and then getting up. And as we're hearing from Johan Richomme, it's all about the decision how they deal with this cold front, whether they try to stick to the rum line and just deal with the high pressures to get across it, or try maybe move out to the east and try and find some downwind. But then looking at it just now, fairly decent conditions for them. And then this is where the cold front starts to emerge, just at the top of the bay at Rio. And then this is the development here in the high pressure. So say a big decision probably tomorrow morning for them. Then looking now at Cape Horn with the animation here. So still quite brisk northwesterlies for the group coming round at the moment. In this high pressure area, which Thomas Riong's going to have to deal with very shortly to cross, and then it becomes very complicated, very difficult for the group coming round as this high pressure continues, and then another little bubble developing just to their west, and so it's quite a bit of upwind sailing, depending whether they go either side of the Falklands, but it's really going to be a lot of upwind in the early part of the South Atlantic for this group. So a complicated South Atlantic generally. Loïck, the two main protagonists then, how do you evaluate them? You've got very, very different characters, aren't they?
The two leaders, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Charlie and Johan.
Charlie was looking fresh a few weeks ago, and looks a little more tired today. I mean, that's impressive to have those images, those videos like that. And you can, to compare the two characters like that.
I think Johan is a little bit more of a showman, isn't he? I think
he looks like.
Yeah.
It's a bit
He's
of
enjoying it, full of energy. But what was interesting for me there, when we were talking about if he was a battery, and he was saying
Yes.
that his power this morning would have been at 20%, but max, he's 50%, something like that. So
Yeah.
he's definitely tired. He's found it much harder than I think he thought he would.
That's what he said. I'm pretty sure he's managing very well everything.
But it's his first time, of course. So, Robin, all these sailors seem to have a real, or most of these sailors have a real sense of history going round Cape Horn. Tell us about the kind of history going way back into the early days. It's all part of your history with the Cape Horn Association.
Well, it took us a while, we Europeans, to find Cape Horn. The Magellan Strait was the place we were going through originally. And then Schouten found it in the early part of the 17th century. And Drake apparently had seen this empty water to the south, hence it's called Drake's Passage. But he didn't go there, he went through Magellan Strait. So it's Schouten who was the first man to go around it. And it was a while really before any other people really went for it. And it took a while. I mean, I think most of the people felt that Magellan Strait was the safer place to be. But then slowly, as we got into the great age of sail in the 19th century, it just became normal. And East-West United States, for example, UK, Europe out to California, and all, of course, the boats coming back from Australia to Europe, Australia and South America. And it became almost standard, I mean, for them. Bloody tough for them, really. When you look at the pictures of them, how they survived, how they lived through it's remarkable. But it's always had a very special place, I think, for all sailors. You know, we talk about it as the Himalaya of the seas, or the Mount Everest. I think Mount Everest is the Cape Horn of the mountains, because far more people have climbed Mount Everest than have been around Cape Horn, especially single-handed, non-stop. We're only just exceeding 200 people. Now, that's a remarkable record, really. When you think of the numbers that have been into space, over 600. And how many have climbed Mount Everest now? 6,000? So Cape Horn is always going to be a special place, I think, for all sailors, but particularly so single-handed non-stop, as in the Vendée.
Indeed. Look, you always have that sense of history when you go past. You can think of the sailors who lost their lives and all these guys years and years ago. You always have that same sense of history.
Yes. That's the beauty of sailing. Each time you see your wake behind your boat, you can share it with the people who passed away sometimes, but at least who were sailing in the same area. There was a very nice museum in Saint-Malo. I say there was because it seems that it's not anymore existing. That was the Cape Horn Museum at the tower of the Solidor Tower, just near Saint-Malo. I hope it's still existing. Very, very nice.
Let's have a quick look at some images from Sébastien Simon as we go into the ranking. So the ranking at midday, well, really not too many changes overall, other than seeing that Charlie Dallin's now 108 miles behind Johan Richomme. Sébastien Simon is about 700 miles. He's lost just a little bit since yesterday. Other than that, very close between Jeremy Bayou and Nico Lundven. It's about 12 miles at the moment. They were only 15 minutes apart going through Cape Horn. Paul Meha ahead of Boris Herrmann just now, but they're super close. Only 10 miles between them in terms of distance to finish. Sam Goodchild up in ninth, still managing to stay ahead of Justine Metro, but there's not very much in it between them either. Yanick Bestaven losing a little bit of distance with his technical problems. Sam Davis in 14th just now. She has to say she's lost a little bit against Benjamin and Clarice for the moment, but hopefully that investment to the north will pay off for her. Isabel Joshkin 18th, problems with their engine. Giancarlo Padotti going well in 19th. Alan Rura all in this nice little group with Jean Le Cam. And further down the table for the internationals, Conrad Coleman in 8th has lost a place in effect from going up to the north. Kojiro Shiraishi in 30th, close to Oliver Heer now. Jing Kun Chu in 33rd and Denis van Veenberg going steadily. The Belgian skipper in 36th. That's the ranking. That is indeed how things stand. So, Robin, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we will be getting another 30 or so members of the Cape Horn Association from this race.
Well, I do hope so, because I think it's something to be terribly proud of. You don't have to boast about it. It's just inside yourself. You just say, I've achieved something very special because I've rounded Cape Horn, and particularly if you've done it solo non-stop. That is very special.
Thank you so much for joining us. Loïck, your thoughts on the Cape Horn Association? Where's your earring?
And it's not an obligation.
It should be.
Hopefully. But I can piss when wood, you know. I try. It's not very efficient.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. Let's finish with Thomas Rion going round Cape Horn, and it's, as ever, a super emotional moment even for him.
Voilà, vulnérable au Cap Horn. Ça y est, c'est coché, dernier cap, dernière marque de parcours. C'est bien, on vient de traverser des océans là où on n'est pas forcément les bienvenus. Mais bon, on y trouve quand même quelque chose. Voilà. Il n'y a plus qu'à remonter vers les sables de l'autre. Ah, c'est cool là. Je me suis aussi surpris à parler à mon bateau. Ça m'était jamais arrivé.